Hey, Jill, thanks for being here with me today. I get to eat lunch with you weekly, which is awesome. I've learned so much about, planning for estates, planning for retirement with our core group of professionals, and protecting assets. And I'm able to take that over and educate my clients on how they can protect their legacy and their assets and make sure, that their family gets what they should get when they pass on, right? And
That's absolutely the goal, Emilio.
and that's what you do as an attorney here in Rhode Island. I know that you focus on helping people to protect their assets. So I really wanted to talk with you and share today a couple of different ways on how someone could leave a legacy for their family and protect their biggest asset, which would be real estate.
Absolutely. So many families have retirement accounts, right?
Yep.
Big retirement accounts, a house, and then maybe a few other things, but not a significant amount of money. So if somebody gets sick, let's say they end up in a nursing home, to make it easy, then how are you going to pay for it? And the problem is we have some, tools in our toolbox that we might be able to get them on Medicaid. But the thing is, we don't want to have to do crisis planning. So proactive planning piece is, hey, I have this house, it's worth $350,000. I want to make sure no matter what, it goes down to my kids. Yep. So we take the house, we throw it in this special kind of trust, bells and whistles it has. It's not simple, it's complex.
Okay.
So we throw it in there, we twiddle our thumbs, we get past the 5-year look back period, and guess what? We've saved the house, and or if the house gets sold because somebody has to go into a facility, we sell it and we've saved the money. And no taxes.
What's the 5-year look back period?
Great question. So everybody gets confused. Oh, they're going to take this, they're going to take that, they're going to, well, I can't give it away. So here's the thing, real easy. Let's say I get sick, I go into a nursing home. My power of attorney, which everybody should have one, my power of attorney wants to apply for Medicaid, which is the governmental benefit that will pay for long-term skilled services in a facility. So they want to apply for Medicaid. So Medicaid, when you apply, will ask you, have you given away, sold, deeded, or transferred any items of value in the last 60 months, which is 5 years. Okay. So basically, you're supposed to disclose everything. And if you've given away, made gifts, or given away assets for less than fair market value or sold them, then they'll penalize you. And for every, it's just under 10,000, but for every 10,000 you give away, it's 9,961 in the year 2020. They'll penalize you and won't pay for 1 month in the nursing home. So people, don't just give away your stuff when somebody gets sick. Everybody loves to immediately put in their kids' names. No, don't do it.
So this is super complex. I didn't know any of that, Jill. So, and somebody that deals with this daily, I did not know that. How about what age should somebody start to think about putting their assets in a trust? And let's talk about what age, and then I want to know the pros and the cons to it.
Now we're talking specifically right now about an irrevocable trust to protect the house, which is different than a revocable trust, which people use to avoid probate, which you can do anytime I think that your kids are 18 or older, because before that you're kind of stuck in probate to name guardianship, which is who's going to have the care and custody of your kids. Yep. So the irrevocable trust is, hey, I'm worried about, I'm going to get sick, going to a nursing home, $10,000, $12,000 a month. I'll have no money to pass on and no way to pay for the house. So people will come to me and they're still working, and I tell them, too early, but this is what you want to think about and come back at a certain point in time. Sometimes people come and they're already sick and they're in their 90s. Yeah. Too late. We probably don't have 5 years. So a good time is when you're eking towards retirement, late 60s, early 70s, when you're still healthy, because you got to get past the 5 years. Are there some tools in the toolbox to get us through the 5 years? And nobody knows how healthy. I've seen people that are 90 that I wouldn't think twice I would absolutely do a plan for. And I've seen people that are 65 that I say, oh no, they're in a nursing home before 5 years. But if you ever get diagnosed with a slowly progressive disease, MS, Parkinson's, something like that, that is the type of disease that is going to end up needing care, right away, get the plan done.
Irrevocable trust. Okay, understood. So somebody who's maybe younger or very healthy, either or, should go with a revocable trust?
Let's use you as example.
Yep.
Young, lovely family, in great shape, good health, right? Your goal right now would be really to name guardianship for your kids.
Okay.
to make sure that if God forbid something happened to the two of you, that we have one, the right person that's guardian to take care of your kids, and two, we have the right person named to be in charge of the money, which might or might not be the same person, right? So that we want to make sure. So we would create probably either reciprocal I love you wills or a revocable trust that we would stick your assets into. And it's no asset protection, but it can avoid probate.
Okay.
But so for you, it would be a simpler plan, either a will-based plan that would create a trust for your kids. Because if not, guess what? Something happens, God forbid, to you and your wife, you're probably worth more dead than alive because of life insurance. And when your kids are 18 or 21, guess what? They get all the money. What do you think is going to happen?
They're going to spend it.
So what's the amount? So how long does it take for somebody that inherits money to buy a sports car or luxury automobile?
Same day.
48 hours, you got it.
Is that a fact?
It's a fact.
Oh.
It's a fact. So as parents, your job is, God forbid something happens, that we have somebody who we trust to make some good financial decisions, to be in charge of the money, to kind of make the decisions you would, because everybody's different. Some families would buy their kid a Porsche at 16. Some of them would make them contribute half, get a job, contribute half, and they'll pay the other half for the Honda. Everybody's different.
You know, I'm not going to raise my son to be a moron with money. I'm going to say, hey, invest it in real estate. You know, don't go buy yourself some fancy cars or sneakers or whatever. Invest in real estate, invest in assets. Crazy. I can't, 48 hours, Jill. That's nuts.
48 hours.
And let me ask you something. I heard somewhere, and I'm curious if you think this is accurate or not. I heard that baby boomers are in control of over 70% of the wealth in this country, and most of that's tied up in the equity in their home. Do you feel like that's true?
I think a lot of it is tied up in the equity of their home, and these are the people, though, that didn't go through even if they went through the refinance game, real estate values have gone up so much that they probably still have equity, yeah. But yeah. I think 401k plans also have, not anymore, but I think 401k plans also had a good amount of equity because years and years and years ago, our parents or grandparents, they didn't exist. Their retirement was Social Security. Small companies didn't have 401k plans. Small businesses didn't have them. And now there's a way for people to actually save without having to take the money from their account and put it somewhere.
Yeah.
So that's a piece of it. But real estate, hands down, best investment ever.
Yeah.
I swear by it. And I don't buy and sell. I have nothing to gain. However, real estate has never let me down. Not once.
Agreed. And that's why I think it's so important where we work with so many different age groups of buyers and sellers, Jill, and we work with people that are as young as 24 years old, getting in, buying their first homes. That's young. I commend those people. They're ahead of the curve because the average first-time buyer is 32 years old, right? But we work with a lot of 30-something-year-olds, a lot of 40s, 50s, 60s. We even sold a house to a 90-year-old before, okay? So there's no, that discrimination of age with opportunity, opportunity there. It's always there. And that was fun.
If I were 24 again, and I did buy my first house when I was very young, but if I were young again, I would have, many of my friends did this, start off with a multifamily.
Right on.
Then you're paying for yourself, right?
Smart.
And then you keep that and you have enough money to buy another one or buy your next house, and then you still have this house paying for this house. You don't lose.
Jill, what's the average rate for, and I don't even know if you tell me this, but the average cost per hour for an attorney, like $350, something like that?
It depends on what level of attorney you're getting. So okay. If you get somebody that's younger, remember, it's going to take them a lot more time to get the same job done.
Yeah.
Right. So I do a lot of Medicaid work. I do estate planning work. I can sit down with somebody for an hour and a half. I've got the whole analysis going in my head. I have information beforehand, or even the Medicaid plans. I can look at an hour and a half. I know in my head, what's the possibility? Somebody who's new doesn't. It would take them like 20 hours to do what I can do in an hour. So while my rate is maybe $325 an hour, somebody fresh out is going to be a lot less. And if you have somebody that has a unique area of practice, they're high-end tax planning attorneys. They're going to be $400, $500, $600 an hour.
Yep.
If you go into probate, you could charge less than 3 because, again, it's an hourly rate and it has to be approved by the court. It depends on the situation, but an average attorney, I would say, is probably about 300, a good attorney.
Yeah, I would more 3 to 3.
Most of our work is flat fee.
Yeah. That's what I saw too. So I guess what I want to know and what I want to share with our listeners right now is basically, like, if somebody, let's just say you're first-time home buyer, okay? Because first-time home buyers need the most amount of guidance, okay? They didn't teach us financial anything in school, nothing. Which I think is fantastic in a way, because it gives professionals like us opportunity to go that extra mile to make to educate people. And that's what my team has done to make such a great brand. And our clients love us, and they come back and they use our circle, and they meet with people like you that help them through, and they're successful. Okay. There's so much opportunity out there. So I want to give those people right now, I want to give first-time buyers or first-time home sellers, I want to give them your best advice on how to really protect their assets, protect their family in a legal manner. And by the way, if you're listening, you are literally getting thousands of dollars of free advice right now. But I do suggest that you see Jill or another attorney near you or somebody else to discuss your particulars, okay? Because it's super important. But go ahead, Jill.
Well, I think first-time home buyers are, I don't think they have to worry as much about asset protection. If they have multi-families, then they need to make sure they're well insured. And the issue comes up that they should either have an umbrella policy, or they should be taking their rental property and putting it in an LLC, which is a little protective box so that they can't get at their personal assets if somebody slips and falls and sues them. Or the other thing that I did when I had a rental was I just got an umbrella policy. So if that did happen and they sued me and it was exceeded the levels of my policy, I had an extra little umbrella that came in and paid it off. So I think the protection piece with the insurance is really big, or an LLC. And as you start buying more and more properties, you definitely want to get into an LLC. But it's all about how you take title. So if you're a married couple, you want to make sure you take it as tenants by the entirety, which is a special form of joint tenancy for a married couple, which means, let's say you and I bought it together and it was joint tenancy. If I die, it's yours. If you die, it's mine. Probate avoidance, asset protection, all kinds of stuff. A lot of people buy and they're not married. Have a habitation agreement. Go see your lawyer. Don't think everything's going to work out just fine. You might as well negotiate what's going to happen if it doesn't work out from the get-go. Why? Set in stone. The end. You'll save money later.
That's at closing. They always ask people, "How do you want to take title?" And the people the buyers look at each other like, "What? What do we do?" And they feel kind of awkward and they're on the spot. That's a biggie right there. I'm so glad you said that. So what do you suggest for first-time buyers that are not married? They shouldn't take it tenants by an entirety, should they? Or
well, they can't because they're not married. So they could take it as joint tenancy, but tenants by the entirety is joint tenancy for married people. There's more asset protection if you got sued. But tenants in common, which is, so joint tenancy is, again, I die, it's yours, you die, it's mine. Tenants in common, if you and I own it, I own 1/2 of an undivided interest, you own 1/2. So if I drop dead, my half will go down wherever I want my stuff to go.
Got you.
Unless, again, you have an agreement. And again, a buyout agreement is good. So this way, nobody needs to litigate. Remember, nobody wants to litigate. The only people that make money are the lawyers.
Yes. Yeah. So it's like, so a tenant in common and a buyout. So that would be 50-50. And then a buyout agreement would almost be like a prenup for your girlfriend or boyfriend or fiance. That's fantastic. Buyout.
It's really good. And if somebody owns a house and they get married, especially at the beginning of a marriage, I wouldn't put the other person's name on it.
No.
I just wouldn't yet, again, unless you have a prenuptial agreement. You want to keep it separate at a certain point in time. Again, I have people that come to me, could be a second marriage, they have a prenup, it could be a first marriage, and they'll come to me, we do a plan, your stuff goes here, your stuff goes there, and then 5 years later, we change it and they take care of each other 10 years later. Because as time goes on, again, you know, bad things happen to good people, and you never know how people are going to behave when things happen in the world.
Yep.
So you want to protect yourself and your most valuable asset, which is probably your home.
Yep, absolutely. Wow, Jill, you know, you've given us so much information here, and this stuff, I always learn something when I talk with you. I remember the first time I sat down with you was in Panera Bread in Garden City, and I told you, I was like, wow, like I'm blown away by like what you taught me. I don't remember 75% of it, but that's why I can pick up the phone and call you and say, hey, what do I do? What do my clients do in this situation? So you're located right in East Providence, right off Wampanoag Trail, right?
Yes, we're at 392 Wampanoag Trail, and most people know it because there's a Brown physicians building across the street, and everybody has a doctor there, especially my older clients. Oh, we know exactly where it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's very, very, very easy to get to. And like Emilio calls me with questions, you don't know if you need a lawyer sometimes unless you call to find out. So there's always a phone conversation first to see if we're a good fit, because maybe you don't need me, maybe you need somebody else.
What's the cost of that? Free consultation. That's great.
Free.
Good to know. So I think a lot of times people think, you know, attorney, oh my gosh, like I'm going to call, get whacked, $350, $400 for the phone call. And it's not always that way. And I appreciate that. That's good.
It's not. It depends on who you're dealing with, because again, maybe you need me, maybe you don't.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to bring you in or schedule a meeting and waste your time or mine unless, you know, it's a good fit. If you need a real estate attorney, I'm going to send you there. If you need a corporate attorney, I'm going to send you there. So this way it all works for everyone.
Great.
But again, the reason why you learn so much from me is the same reason why I learned so much from you, because you're an expert in your field. So I learn a lot about real estate buying and selling, marketing, and what works from you every time. Works both ways.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Jill. Well, that's perfect. So Jill, thanks very much. I'm going to go ahead and include Jill's company information in the post here. And, you know, feel free to comment and reach out with any questions. We'll get those answered for you, and contact Jill for your free consultation about, you know, planning your estate and making sure to keep your assets out of probate if you can and protected. So, and again, you know, she's also a phone call away just to see, like, am I doing the right thing? What should I do? She may have some advice for you. She may say, hey, go see this person, go do this, but it's always better. What is that saying? An ounce of prevention is better than a pound of cure?
No, an ounce of prevention is like a,
something.
Yes.
You got the idea. Awesome.
You got it. I don't
hey, Jill, I wanted to ask you, your hair looks purple, and I know you're not the type of person to color your hair purple. But
I have no color in my hair, so I don't know why it looks purple. I must, because, you know, that's the color of the DiSpirito team. So, so there you go. It must have just decided to turn purple today.
Fantastic.
And my dress looks purple and it's black. I don't know.
That's so funny. Well, it's great talking with you, and I look forward to learning more from you again soon.
Thank you.
You're welcome.